Arthritis makes me very frustrated, and some students say, oh, you're faking it, or oh, you can't have it, it's old person's disease. I just kind of ignore it, but it just kind of gets me upset as well at the same time.
I was the student who kind of stood out, like no one had seen it before, no teacher had experienced a child with that. Trying to cope with being in pain is quite hard, so I struggle with low mood, but I find school actually is a great distraction.
When I was first diagnosed, if you'd asked me like any questions, I'd burst out crying for a good 2 years. But I was young and the emotional side of it was just so much, and I wouldn't really know what was happening to my own body.
I would say it makes me feel quite self-conscious because if my things lock, it's not the prettiest to see. It's quite ugly and it's quite mentally straining, which I don't think people realise. Some people, this was when I was a bit younger, they would think it's contagious, and you're just kind of there well, it's not. So people try and avoid me, and you're quite worried whether people will actually not like you. So not for your personality, but for your condition. And my personality isn't my condition. The snidey comments it doesn't make me sad because I try and not let it get to me, I shouldn't, but some of them can make me quite upset thinking I'm not normal. I think I'm different to everyone else.
I'm very self-conscious about the way I walk because my arthritis obviously gives me a bit of a limp. And I have had people ask me about my walking, which kind of just makes me more self-conscious.
I'm worried people view me in a different light and don't invite me to stuff because of what I can't do.
Don't be embarrassed or ashamed of your condition because it's not your fault, and don't be scared to tell people because once you've told people you can get more support and it will become easier for you to manage, so it's the best thing to do.
Communicate with your parents and teachers if something has gone on because otherwise that's just going to carry on happening. There's no point keeping it to yourself, which is quite bad for your mental health and stuff.
A person with this condition should openly talk about it and not feel like it's a drawback or people would not like them for their condition. Because I think, people can actually love them for their condition. The fact that you've gone through it at such a young age, it shows how strong you really are.
No, it's quite nice to be able to have friends that you can laugh about it with, and teachers as well. If it's someone that you're comfortable joking about it with. They always say laughter is the best medicine, but it actually is, and it can take your mind off the pain.
So important.
Yeah.
The most important thing.
You need to be so open about it.
I find I have this one teacher at school that I completely trust, and I always talk to her about how I'm feeling, and I think it really helps your mental health as well.
I think it's good to know that we're all kind of going through the similar thing, so to know each other and know medication and how to cope with things. I think it's so important to have each other.
And also reaching out to charities like Versus Arthritis, because they have helped, and I've been able to meet other people to just know that you're not the only one.
Stay as positive as you can. Don't let it affect your life. Don't walk around and be yeah, I can't do it, I have arthritis. The world is your oyster. Live it how you please to live it, and don't let your conditions get in the way. Obviously the most important thing is to talk about how you're feeling. It's okay to get upset. I get upset a lot, I cry a lot. It's frustrating, it's annoying. You feel like you've lost your old life, you grieve for your old life before you got ill, but talking is the biggest thing that's helped me.